I do not see the presenter here. If he arrives, maybe we'll do that a little bit later. The main agenda. Are there any comments, any public comments on the agenda?
I would like an info about the park. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, on the Hunter Park
I don't hear the
property.
comment.
What that
Would
development,
you repeat that, please?
what is,
Around Hunter Park.
what kind of development?
It's not for development, it's for an extension of the park.
Oh,
there
it's
we go.
more of the same.
It's the 2 lots that we've been cutting for 25 years that are not ours. And someone walked away from it quite some time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I could leave, but
Okay.
here.
Any other comment or any public comment on our agenda for this evening? Okay, seeing none. I'll begin to our agenda for items 1 through 4, which is council's minutes. Did you hear me on the phone?
Yes.
I thought so. For January, for consent, which means we'll vote on all 4 items with one motion.
So agree.
Okay, one motion.
So agree.
Okay,
Second.
all right,
Make a comment?
sure.
This is Paige. May I make a comment? On the January 22nd meeting,
Mhm.
all of the I and O for the vote, except for the minutes for December 4th,
Okay,
which I abstained.
right. Okay, with that correction, regarding
That's a correction.
the vote minutes for
Yes,
December,
I abstained.
Ms. Edmonds, so carried.
This conference will now be recorded.
Sure, you look excited.
I thought she was listening. This conference is now ended.
Yeah, I was like, thank you for using Verizon or whatever. Okay, getting to, excuse me, item 5, which is issued February 1st to the 29th, 2020. If you have a hard copy, I presume a tablet, it's page 22. The disbursements are $717,570.30. Payroll is $300,182.97. Voided checks are $124 for total disbursements of $1,017,753.20. And Ms. Discussion,
Right.
questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Yes?
This is Councilwoman Houghton. I missed roll call, but I'd just like to say I'm present.
708.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All those opposed, we're paying bills here, Ariel. All those opposed signify by saying no. Abstentions, so carried. Item 6, approval of checks issued March 1st through March 31st. This is page 23, if you want to see the details. $41.89.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lefebvre, second by
Second
Ms.
Macklin.
Macklin. Discussion?
Discussion. Just so I know, what do the voided checks, what do they include?
What is included in the voided checks? Sure.
Can you explain voided checks?
Opposed? Abstentions? So carried. Okay. Moving to item number 7, which is a resolution approving the vacant property recovery program, which is a county program. Right.
The blank pages should be removed. I'll put it that way.
Okay, we'll remove those. Okay. Any other further comments or questions? Hearing none,
So moved.
wait a minute, I gotta read you the amendment.
Second.
The motion's has been made and second. Any discussion? Comments?
Who was the second? Ms. Houghton?
I think Ms. Houghton, is that right, Moses?
Who seconded it?
Ms. Houghton, did you second?
Did not. I did. Paige.
Page
Oh,
second.
okay.
The people on the phone, just say your name because we can't tell you apart.
Will do.
What?
Sorry.
Comments? Questions? Anybody want to say anything?
Amen.
All right.
They wanted it posted from, April 5th to April 25th. They haven't got back to us on whether it's still being.
What I was,
Okay, yeah, I wanted to know if they're still having this event as well.
Right, we have not heard back from them.
If I may, I don't believe the banner's gone up.
so,
Correct.
this is Moses. What I was hoping was that, if we were to move forward with this, maybe with the, amendment, it's okay with our office, Public Works, then we can just coordinate it and not have to come in front of
And
you
let it
again.
run along, okay.
So that's.
Very good.
Fine.
That,
Oh, is that okay?
Can we do it that way, or do we have to wait for the date?
No, we can do it that way. I think in light of.
I don't think we have to wait for this.
It's just a.
You don't have to wait for the dates, okay.
You don't have to wait for the date. If it's approved, then they'll go ahead and,
Okay.
let us
Thank
know.
you.
His comments about coordinating, so they just want to advertise their event whenever it takes place. That's pretty much what it is.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? 52 to 53 in our packet.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. LaFave,
Second.
second by Ms. Edmonds. Discussion. Don, you have any comments?
It looks like a good idea. It's my comment, so,
Yeah, you
if we can
received,
get that.
you received the budget
Yeah.
in detail. The excavator, it's a backhoe, it's a, Bobcat machine.
Okay, all right, great. Thank
If
you
you
for
check
sending
your
that.
email, it's all listed there in detail.
Okay.
Okay, the motion has been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? So ordered. Okay. Item 12 is an appointment. Excuse me, you're right. The 14, not 13. We'll come back to 13.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I second, this
just
is
so we're
Paige.
clear, we're approving the Wood Street Parklet Project Manager contract to Richard Lauso, landscape architect, in the amount of $2,750, and it's resolution 14, not 13.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lefebvre,
Correct.
second,
Second by Paige.
second by Ms. Trice. Discussion,
Correct.
those opposed? Abstentions? So ordered. Okay, resolution 13, and I thank everyone, approving Wood Street Parklet bid to Vermont Stone in the amount of $86,975.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lefebvre,
Second.
second by Ms.
Macklin.
by Ms. Macklin. Discussion? Questions? Comments? Going once. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Thanks.
This is Ian. I have a quick question. Do we know what the subject matter will be of the art at all?
I think that's what Linda's question is.
Yeah, if you look them up, Ian, it could be a wide range of things. So it could be something very acceptable to a wide audience, or it could be objectionable, and that's why it would be great if we can, see his concept before he actually applies it.
And also, I'd like to know what buildings he's going to use to put these murals on.
This is Andre.
Is it always going to be in the business district, or?
This is Andre. If I'm not mistaken, I think I read an email from him. His name is Shane, the artist.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And actually requested to speak to us and get our input on things that we want and definitely did not want. I'm not sure as far as the building placement, but I'm pretty sure I read an email to that effect.
Yeah, I also recall that he wanted to do something that was text-based.
You
approve of this grant or approve, because he's going for money, if I understood it correctly. But if he has the grant and he's proceeding, and suddenly council comes up and says, we don't like this idea, and he says, tough block, First Amendment, you're not going to be able to. So I would want assistance from him before you, if he needs your assistance in getting these grants or doing what he's doing, I think you want some commitment ahead of time as to exactly what's going on, because in full content and you run into a First Amendment problem, all of a sudden he has the ACLU representing him, and something you felt was a positive for the community, and all you wanted to do was make sure that it was something good, could go sour quickly.
How do we go about him, how do we do that limit? We don't want him to write profane words or draw naked people, or, how do we do that ahead of time?
Well, that's the problem. Is there some sort of a grant for it? Did I understand that correctly, or exactly how is this going to be?
If I could make a suggestion.
Yeah, it's a great project.
If I could make a suggestion.
Okay, so
Okay.
spelling out.
What's been happening with the grants is, especially with the state, and given the current circuit open the state and get back on schedule. And that's why I'm suggesting that the artists be invited to address, that we contact the state. I'm presuming this is a state grant. I'm not quite sure who the funding.
I'm not sure if it's a foundation. I think it's a foundation, but I'll check.
Well, I think council said
So let's-
we need a little. Hold on, we need a little.
So my understanding is that these properties are vacant. We do not own them. Do we have any jurisdiction over that?
No, we really don't, Pamela. That's the problem. And what I kept on hearing from different council members is that they wanted to have.
After so completely rehab, that the mural will be gone. This is
Okay.
temporary. It's not forever. He is involved new artists, so he guides them, helps them, teaches them, and he does not have.
Hold on.
Who's thinking, please?
No, this is
Maya?
a difficult meeting to chair because we can't see each other.
Okay.
So, but I want to make sure we try not to interrupt each other
And
either.
my last point is.
I'm simply asking who is speaking.
Kate Luxembourg.
Kate.
Sorry, I didn't say.
Thank you.
Okay, so he,
Clarify all those questions in the coming days.
Do,
Okay.
Mr. Lefebvre? Hold on, Mr. Lefebvre.
not that I recall, but in the email, does it give the specific name of the grant? Okay, perfect.
Okay, did everybody hear it's a creative, Pennsylvania Council on the Arts Creative Catalyst Grant. On the phone. Who would like to speak?
Councilman Houghton.
Go ahead.
I would just also point out that in his email, he did also ask if there's anything that we have painted. So perhaps we didn't like to have painted before we offer our, before we give him a letter of support.
Other comments on the phone?
This building, whether they're around or not. Or do we want to put is there any liability if we do that and let's say the next door neighbors don't like it?
Mr. Witherell, you have a comment on that?
No, I'm good with it. I think we're going in the right direction now.
Ms. Luxembourg?
To give to him before he continues. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
On the
Like no vulgarity, no nudity, I'm not sure.
it's, all
And
finished?
he has two buildings that on Swissvale. Did you say, Kate?
yes.
The old barber shop and the other at Swissvale and, what'd you say, South?
Swissvale and Kent, the white building, painted white. Another thing I got, because it's a gateway to Wilkinsburg, coming down Penn Avenue, you see the wall. So he's really interested in that.
Who selected these locations?
He did,
did?
he did driving around, and then he asked me to find owners.
Okay. page, I'd like to see what, I know when he came before, he gave us a sample of what of his various murals, and I'd just like to see what he thinks is presentable for our community, or let us determine.
Nicole?
I obviously didn't receive information as council members have, so I'm not sure what was provided in the email. But had he submitted the application, a sample of the application, so that the directive of what he was applying for was laid out in there, what his objective was? No. Okay, so when he was writing toward that grant, there should be detail in there of the objective and details of how he would achieve what his goal was. And so then if he's awarded, because you have to meet the things that the grant says that you have to do. And if he's awarded, then those things have to be met. And if in there was to engage in key community members and groups and things like that, he's asking for obviously this group to endorse it, then he would have to adhere to that through the process into installation. So that might be one way to make sure that everyone is engaged during the process.
Further comment on the phone?
None, Mrs. Page.
Go ahead, Paige. Paige?
No, I said I have none, thank you.
Okay, going forward, based on what Nicole has just outlined as part of the grant, and this is the Pennsylvania Arts Council grant, to my knowledge, they've never proceeded without public comment. Don, somebody can correct me, but I've never had any artist or anyone else, for that matter, who has been the recipient of such a grant, who just comes into town and does what they want. That's never happened. Can we go forward and support this initiative with all the stipulations, including public comment and so forth? The grant has not been awarded yet, and just by understanding a little bit how it works, the Arts Council will not, if that will be a part of that process, meaning that they would have to come to council and the neighbors and the neighborhood to engage everyone to support this. Okay, so can we go forward with that stipulation?
I agree, Mrs. Page.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Go forward.
Moved
So
by
you're making a
Ms.
motion,
Trice.
okay.
Okay, moved by Ms. Trice.
Mrs. Page, yes.
Moved by Ms. Trice. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Edmonds. Any further comment?
Personally, I would like to be clear with him ahead of time before we move forward with a letter with him.
Okay. I'll just ask the manager, Dawn, were we clear?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Ms. Edmonds?
Ms. Luxembourg, you said that two of the properties are tax delinquent?
Yes,
And
they're
one-
so tax delinquent, way more than they're worth.
Okay. And then Ms. Trice was concerned about the responsibility of the ownership of the other properties. So once a property is way past delinquency, does that give the borough authorization to do what they want?
No.
Bro, nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
we have nothing to do
She
with
was
it.
talking about liability.
Right.
So that wouldn't fall under liability at all?
We don't know.
So all we're doing is offering a letter of support for a grant application. We're not getting the grant, we're not executing the grant, we're not painting the wall, we're not picking the property. We are just saying we agree in principle with the stipulations that were presented here tonight about content. We agree in principle that this gentleman can do this, that we agree that this in general is a worthwhile thing for our community. The liability should be none. Other than just because we say we agree with a grant application doesn't mean that what that grant application, if he goes out and puts FU on every building he does, you know, we're not gonna be liable for that, although we will have that in our stipulations.
Right.
And the Arts Council will, the Arts Council will,
Yeah, I'm getting confused.
Go ahead, Don.
the Arts Council will frown and probably withhold his money if it doesn't meet the terms of what he presented to them in the grant application.
Ms. Atkins? On the-
I'm confused as to what we're voting on. So are we going to proceed with the letter without talking to him again and telling him, you know, that we don't want FU or whatever? Are we just going ahead with the letter without making any stipulations to him? Or I'm a little confused.
I believe the letter is going to include all the conditions the council has raised this evening. And, okay, very good. Any other further comments?
And we'll be able, this is Linda again, or we'll be able to see the letter beforehand, please.
Sure. We can email that out, right, Dawn? Okay. All right, any other further comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, I have to confess, I really don't know what miscellaneous items refers to. That's right. And so I'm going to go to, is there any public comment on any general issues in the borough? Sealed business.
Okay.
And they're closed due to the coronavirus.
Okay. Don?
Yes.
I did notice that in the hillside, or as you look at it on the right of the garden that's still up there, which I hope we can retain some of that, by the way. So let's not take it down until we discuss that, because there's a beautiful pink tree up there. There seems to be that the earth is separated in a line from the top down to the bottom of the hill, to the right of the garden. There's a crack, I don't know if the ground can crack, but there's a definite separation of the earth from the top to the walkway.
Yes.
If somebody can check that out, I don't know what it is.
That whole hillside will be excavated, so it will be fixed, I guess is the way to put it.
I went to Franklin Avenue, which is old business because there's been a water break on there and the road was wrinkled, and so they were coming down to fix the water company was supposed to come down and fix it. I drove up Franklin from Ardmore to Princeton. It is in terrible shape. There are so many previously dug holes. One, I guess, the water company all the way up in the on the right-hand side in the street. But then there's excavations that have gone from one side to the other, 3 or 4 going up the street, all the way across the road. So it's really in bad shape, and a lot of gravel and stuff floating around. Is that on our radar to get it fixed, or to talk to the people, or who's in charge of getting that done? We spent all that money to pay that, and now it's a terrible street.
So I'm assuming if there's a lot of excavating and a lot of gravel, that somebody dug it up and replaced the line or something there?
Yes, and of course where they've filled it in, it's sunk.
Right. So they're waiting for hot mix just like we are, and I would hope that hot mix, I think, may be available now. So that you wait several months for it to sink, which I don't know how long it's been open. But you usually wait a couple of months for it to settle, and then you come in and put hot mix in if it's just a line repair. But they'll be digging up the gravel that's loose, filling in.
I think we probably need to mill it, or it won't look. We won't.
Excuse me, send code in my.
I've done that previously.
Okay. Anything further? Any further items?
It's a state road too, isn't it?
Say again.
Pamela? It's a state road.
Franklin?
Ardmore is the state road. Franklin's not. Okay. Yeah, I know Franklin isn't.
Okay. Any other further items of old business?
I have a question,
Linda?
quick question. Should anybody be using,
On that, and they are maintaining the security of the field. The only people I know that they may have allowed to, who are not, the kids are not separated. They're close, like they're practicing football or something. And one lady, she lives over on Montier. Her mother lives up in Beacon Hill, and when she comes down, she sees them playing ball. So I did notice actually yesterday when I drove up Franklin that they have put a wooden gate that is closed and padlocked in place of the wire gate that was there before. So I don't know why they put the gate there, but that could be to keep people out or indicate not to go in. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean, I can know the basketball.
guys,
Go ahead.
time.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pamela. Anything further?
Yes, all the basketball courts, hoops have been covered, I believe. Am I correct, Dawn? This is Paige.
If Roy did that, he did it on his own, but we did post signs that for no play at the parks. No,
Right.
no use of equipment at the parks.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
further items for old business? Okay, new business, and I have a comment. I think we can all take a great deal of pride in the Wilkinsburg Borough staff in doing a really outstanding job in a very trying, confusing, and helping us chart new waters in confronting all kinds of emergencies and potential disasters as a community. And I really believe that we need to congratulate them and perhaps even consider maybe taking the crew out to lunch when this is all over. But I also like to say that our community as a community has really come together and has revitalized entire blocks, apartment buildings in working as a community, helping each other out, whether it's going to get prescriptions, in dealing with all kinds of issues with everything from unemployment compensation to everything going on, the checks coming into Social Security, or just making sure that our neighbors are having enough to eat and are safe. And I really think that we have a long way to go, but we're doing rather well. There hasn't been any panic, there hasn't been any real disasters. And just one other item, I think on the compassionate side, and that is we do have a very significant homeless community in Wilkinsburg. And the many organizations, from churches to actually individuals, have stepped up to make sure that folks, the least of us, as they say biblically, are attended to, cared for, and going forward. And I would like to, at some point, ask council to take action to congratulate our staff as well and emphasize the absolute outpouring from our community through this very, very difficult time. Are there any other items for new business?
I just want to mention one that mentioned that. I'd really like to thank Opening Doors, Michael Johnson. They are the nonprofit that is at South Avenue Methodist Church, and they are preparing the meals and lunches and to-go lunches for the Wilkinsburg school district, or for the Wilkinsburg school children, I should say, because it's not for the school district. I think they're doing it with grants, etc. At this point, I don't think the school district is contributing financially to that, but they're doing an excellent job, and they're also distributing the school district homework packages, and as well as packing the food packages for the weekend, the backpacks. And they're also feeding any seniors or homeless people that come in to eat, and they are also taking
real thing, and this is the kind of community we want to build. Any other further items for new business?
But yeah, and along that line,
Hold
just
on,
to remind people,
back up, hold the phone. Go ahead, Ms. Edmonds.
I was wondering, I believe Pamela, you and I were talking about food distribution, food banks. Have you gotten any more information regarding anything for the seniors, for like from the community food bank or anything? I know that we have the Wilkinsburg Ministries on Wood Street, but they're not, they're only there until like 1 o'clock, and you have to go down there, and they're not allowing groups of people in there.
Pamela?
My understanding is that Opening Doors is fulfilling what the Wilkinsburg Community Ministries used to do.
He's crying.
Okay. Any other further items for new business? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
this is a reminder, if I may talk now, this is Linda, that St. James Church is still having their community food bank.
Okay, Linda, why don't you go
What they're
ahead?
doing is, instead of one day, they're spreading it out over 3 days, a month to help with social distancing. And they're also bringing the food out to the car or to the person. So don't forget St. James Church.
And I think that
What
started
days are
today.
they having that, please?
I think that started today, and
Third Saturday, well, I don't know how they changed it, but Kevin is working with them on the distribution and taking them out to he and Kim are making sure that the foods, the boxes of bags of food get into each individual car.
Correct. So they're trying, this is Linda, they're trying to do it on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday instead of just Saturday.
Right.
Okay. Any other items for new business? Any other comments? Motion to adjourn. And thank you all very much.
Second. Thank you. Adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Wow.
That's probably Ariel's
I
kid.
think it's Roy was a peach today at the flower distribution. He was so nice. He was really, really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. Everything else is just logged out.